high.
Yeah.
There's spots in my yard that's high. It's not all of it. Just
No, it's just,
Good evening. How are you?
Just get it leveled off.
Are
yeah.
you afraid you're gonna get called out or?
It is what it is.
Or do you have another driver?
No.
You're the only one?
Yeah.
Wow, that's demanding.
Well, that's it. Last time we was at one of these meetings and it went off and Jack just took care of it for me.
I do the same tonight too.
Yeah, nothing needs read. Just pass it out. Here we go.
I paid my membership, so.
Jerry, she's doing more, I guess.
Oh, thank you. Is this an agenda? Oh, okay. It's a long agenda.
You're going up here, yeah.
You what? No, no, we have enough.
What are these numbers for?
Very
Those
good.
are spaces.
Yeah,
We're all right here.
she just has on there for who,
that's for me to write down who votes.
Oh,
I don't usually give you that
I
one.
thought I had to take notes or something,
When you do one, I usually do it fine for you guys.
because
That's,
I can't.
that's how I do mine. Sorry.
I have a migraine. I can barely read things until I get my glasses in the mouth.
Okay.
Huh? Oh, no.
Then I won't get right here.
I can read it just about right here.
Okay.
We have enough.
Do you need that? You
No,
got
we
that?
have.
Hi, Jeff.
How you doing?
No
Wonderful, how
progress.
are you?
No progress.
She'll be here. She called and said she'd be later. I won't care for her.
She usually is at Kerbensville.
Oh, is it tonight?
Yeah, they start at 6. This is the second Monday.
No, I never finished it. I did it.
Good stuff, isn't it?
Oh, here it is.
not this thing really you want.
Okay, so here.
I think you already have them all.
What's for supper?
Yeah, you can just move around.
That's another
Put all that in there now.
No, I called out, that Kate said you're out in the yard, so I figured that's what you were doing.
That might be.
Okay. Please. Just let these lay outside your packet, you'll see it when we come to it, okay? I tried to put everything in order, but don't set these inside your packet, you'll know when we come to them. You get one, Sean, like that?
Yeah. Alright, 7:31.
It's not.
7:31. Alright, guys ready? Alright, call the meeting to order. Do the pledge now?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Sean Yingling.
Here.
Don Yingling. Todd Spencer.
Here.
Greg Spencer.
Here.
And the mayor's not here.
Alright. Vote for a new council member.
Okay, I have the only one that responded was Rick, do you want me to say your right name?
I don't care.
Ricardo Nardelli,
It don't matter.
and he's already been sworn in at the district magistrates at classes. So all he needs to do is, all you need to do is if you want to vote for him.
I make a motion that we vote Nardelli in as a new council member.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay?
All right. We're going to vote to approve the January 30th, 2023 meeting minutes and February 13th minutes. There's a copy for everyone somewhere.
13th is a year.
What's that?
It's supposed to be in order. For the pack that lay there when you sat down, not what I gave you this. The one from the 30th was pretty long. The one from the 13th is pretty short.
Okay, found it. Find it? Unless you want after the other.
Here it is.
Find it.
Well, you and Sean might not have the one from,
This 30th because we already have them. Alright. Make a motion, we approve the January 30th, 2023 and February 13th, 2023 minutes.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Visitors and guests.
Joe DeGenero, the one maintenance worker, was supposed to be here. He didn't know if he could come now or he's gonna wait when he has to, come up a little later for them to fix the fire. He wasn't sure which he could make it. So, but he needs to talk to you about some things pertaining to you. So, if you wouldn't mind if he doesn't come here, if you would let him speak when he does come.
Yep.
Okay.
Motion to approve treasurer's report.
We gotta ask anybody, any other guests, right?
Yeah, any of the guests.
Oh, all right.
She was the only
Skip
one
one.
that's on the agenda.
Well, I guess I'll go first. Anyway, I'm here to represent Arvana Ambulance tonight. Back in August of 2021, whenever the ARPA fiscal recovery funds became available, we submitted a written request to, I think it was Mr. Zupich, and he brought it up at your August meeting 21. And some of the priorities on that at that time was emergency services. That was right at the top of the list. Now, the list, I guess, has expanded since then for where you can put those funds. But they said at the meeting there that they was going to take care of emergency services, EMS and fire, whatever. Anyway, we never heard anything from the borough, denial, approval, anything at all. So we got to thinking about it with all the member changing and the reorganization you guys did. It probably got pushed by the wayside. So I don't know, Mary Sue, do you guys even have a copy of that
Yes,
request?
it's in the basket. I was waiting till we had an ARPA.
I mean, the
meeting.
one from
Never had.
the 21st, from May 21, when we first applied.
Yeah, it's in
Okay.
the basket there.
So anyway, we sent a second one out on December of 2022, requesting to see if you guys would put us on the list for any of that funding from ARPA. Like I said, I've been associated with the ambulance for 18 years, and we never went to any of the municipalities for any funding at all. But since this particular funding doesn't come out of your tax base, out of your budget, it's a good opportunity for the municipalities to make a contribution, towards the ambulance service. The other municipalities have done so, and we just was doing a follow-up to see where you guys were at with that. And I do have copies, Mary Sue, of 4 each for, you can pass out and when you get time to review it. But we appreciate it if you would take in consideration of thinking about helping finance us in that direction for the ambulance.
There's, later on in the agenda, you'll see where I'm asking that the next meeting we decide on the ARPA budget.
Yeah, there's the older one and then the current one. And that's about it for me, unless anybody has any questions.
How many years have you been an ambulance driver?
Well, more than I like to count. Pretty close to 18.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could I have clarification on the grant, that ARPA grant? Does the public get to see what you're planning on donating or doing before the action is done?
It's not secret.
I just was wondering, because there has been no formal discussion.
No, that's why I said I put on there
Yeah.
tonight, the next meeting, we're doing an ARPA budget.
Oh, the next meeting's gonna be the budget.
Yeah, I think you had 4 years to get that money expended and then do the
Some,
final
yeah.
for it, I believe.
And we have to report on it every year.
But you don't have to go over those now. You can look at them at your own leisure, but you can see where we're coming from.
That's a good light.
Thank you.
Yeah, but the ambulance service is getting short throughout the area. You cover a pretty good area right now. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about 1,800 homes and 3,500 people, 65 square mile. Keeps us busy.
You have White Township also?
No.
Oh, you don't?
So you have Coalport.
Coalport Borough, Arvona Borough, all of Jordan Township with a small section Madera takes because they're closer. And a little bit of Chest.
You have most of Vicaria Township too?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Madera has a little piece of
A
it.
little bit down the Smoke Run, or
Yeah.
down that way.
Anything else?
Tip for me.
You know, yes?
Jack?
Yeah, I'm here again asking why the fire company did not receive their monies for last year when you had a surplus in the budget. You know, when you did that back in January, we still haven't received the 3,500. LaDawn questioned it, that the amount should have been reduced. It was reduced from 7,800 down to 3,500. I did look at, in your minutes, there was a motion by Swatter and a second by Lee. I don't have the date right now, I left it lay up home, but they approved paying that contract. So therefore, you have a legal binding issue outstanding that should have been done by the end of the year to make sure your figures were correct.
We got our budget in the very
No.
last day of the year.
Right, but what I'm saying, Mary Sue, is that did you include that as an outstanding debt?
No.
No.
You already asked that before and I told you, no, we didn't do that.
Right, but I'm bringing it up again because there doesn't seem to be action being done to
It's
handle it.
the,
So the fire department has not been paid any
Correct.
funds.
Correct, and actually, according to LaDawn, she said part of that art monies that the fire company received was for toward the contract. And I don't believe, and haven't not seen the ARP,
Current version of regulations.
what was that funds were allowed to be used for or not. I know at one time it was not allowed to be used for contracts, that type of
I
contract.
don't know. Anyhow, the solicitor has the contracts, that's what's in there. But yeah, the ARPA can be used for that.
So
But
they,
whether it can be used for contracts, I
Right.
don't know. I do know that it definitely can be used for the
fire
nonprofit.
company, yes, I know that, but for the contract is the part that and if that's the case, the contract goes back even further. Yeah.
You said the solicitor has that now, looking at it.
We'll have it back by the time we have an ARPA meeting, so you can look at it. I'll make a copy for the contracts. I think I found them, what did you find that one time? What year? I forget too, but I found them from 3 years,
Yeah.
2 or 3. So I'll make copies for that, for you to discuss that night.
If it's a contract, we should have already paid that part of it anyway.
But there's a question of whether the contract carries over into a new council or not. That's why I didn't.
It's an automatic renewal
I don't know.
contract.
I'm not a lawyer, I can't answer that.
I think we need to, not tonight, but we need to figure out what's going on with it.
Next time, for sure.
Any other?
That's all I have.
I'm Clearwater House. I recently got my taxes about a month ago. And according to Mr. Spade, I can't pay my taxes in person anymore. He says the solicitor told him that's not legal. Well, according to the Pennsylvania Department of Economic Development, that is legal. And according to them, for the last 2 weeks of the discount period, Mr. Spade's supposed to make himself available for at least 3 days a week for the last 2 weeks of that period for the payment of taxes. So that being said, I'd like to know where and when I can pay my taxes.
Now, the solicitor did not say that. What he did tell, and we have it in, and Gerald knows this, he told him he couldn't mix, tell me if I'm correct, guys, he couldn't mix the Vision Press stuff with the tax stuff, is that correct? He didn't tell him he couldn't
Yeah.
have a,
It has to be two separate,
It has to be 2 separate accounts.
yeah, two
I
separate.
realize that,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean I can't go down there and pay my taxes in person. So where and when can I pay my taxes?
The post office box outside is a drop box and it's open 24 hours, 7 days a week.
and it's not secure.
And you can go in the inside and you can take your envelope
You
to
talking
the,
the postal service?
Yeah.
Or your business?
no, the postal service. That's more secure.
Who's gonna pay for it? That's not part of my taxes, to pay the postage and send them because you don't wanna do your job.
Oh, everybody's doing it well. I mean, do you pay your electric bill in person?
That's a different story.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah,
No,
the
no,
post
it's not
office,
true.
the post office
Pennsylvania
of,
Department of Community Economic Development has published a tax collector's manual, and you're not even going by that manual.
well, the council hasn't dealt with this at all yet.
Well, somebody needs to deal with
We
it.
offered you a room.
Like I said, did they offer you a room?
We offered you a room. We offered it to be secure. We offered it.
You've never acted on it. It was never a motion of this council.
It
Show
was
me
a
the
be-
minutes where it is.
But keep
Then
in
why you call
mind,
it
if
the
they
fund?
give you a room, they have to deduct from your compensation for that room.
No, they don't.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
they
they do.
No,
We
Yes,
showed
they-
you the room. We were waiting on your response to
Yeah.
whether or not you were going to accept it.
It was never brought, that meeting never was held. You never had a meeting. Everybody is
I
doing,
know we had one
Gary?
at the end of 2022, toward the end of 2022, where we addressed it.
you didn't, it wasn't an official meeting though.
For over 50 years, people have been paying their taxes the same way in this town and never had any problem until a year and a half ago. And then all of a sudden, we start having problems paying our taxes.
People have been paying their taxes on a regular basis every day. I paid my first payment to the borough, and everybody is sending the taxes.
Well, they shouldn't be.
We had a meeting here with the solicitor present.
Yeah, I was here.
That wasn't official.
The solicitor wouldn't have been here without a meeting.
Mr. Spencer said it was not an advertised meeting. And
We had
Well,
one
I see-
after that.
I don't recall
Yeah,
another
I'm
meeting.
almost positive we had one after that that we discussed it.
It was either a Monday night or a Wednesday night, and they're both advertised.
Oh, I wasn't here then. I don't
But
recall.
we went over the fact that we were gonna give you a room, we were gonna have the internet, you could have access to the internet. We asked you,
And if
personally,
it's
if you
gonna
could
affect the
not-
compensation,
no,
I
no,
would
no,
never
we
know.
asked you if you could please, while you're up here doing your taxes between your hours, because we asked you to set hours, to not do any Vision Press business while you're here, because you're
Correct.
here to do taxes.
that was a conflict of interest. So if that's
That
the
ordinarily-
case up here, it's also the case at my business, because I do Department of Transportation, Department of Natural Resources, I do boat, and I do notary work there. And I do have people come into my office, and I have to instruct them that this is not the tax office. It is
Well,
not
if
the tax
that's the
office.
case, why has every other business that's ever been a tax collector been able to collect taxes in their private business? And it also states in the tax collector's manual that small municipal and borough tax collectors use their own private residence or their own private business to collect taxes.
Mary and Bob did it for years as
I
a
do.
workshop.
I take
Dick
care.
Lang did it how many years? Before you came to Coalport.
Well, this
What's
is the
the
way
Where's
I
the
have.
conflict of interest?
What's the difference with you?
Ask the solicitor. He's the one that's.
If you don't want to do your job, Jerry, why don't you resign?
No, I'm not resigning.
All right, Jerry. Borough offered you a space to have an office to collect taxes. Now, what's your answer? Do you
It would be.
accept that or do you not accept that?
I don't accept the fact that it's not locked. It has to be a lockable room
We just-
for secured,
We can put a door on that.
and that I would be the only one that has a key to it.
I know there's a filing cabinet in there, correct?
Yeah. Isn't there?
No, they take
I
it
thought I
out.
seen one
That
in there.
belongs to the streetscape.
But according to the tax collector's manual, they ran into a problem like that once before where a school district provided the tax collector an office, a phone, and everything he wanted, and a judge ruled that he had to forfeit part of his compensation to pay for that space.
Well, Jared
It's in
had
the
asked
tax
for more
collector's
stuff.
manual.
I mean, he wanted a copy machine and everything in there, and we said, no, we weren't gonna buy him a copy machine.
Computer, coffee machine.
But even providing him a space, because this is a small borough, he has to forfeit part of his
We
compensation.
got roughly 400 people in this borough, and less than half of them works. This isn't Altoona, or this isn't Philadelphia, this isn't Pittsburgh.
I have it on my computer at home.
Okay.
I paid my taxes this morning to the federal government. They all went in envelopes. I had 9 envelopes from my different companies, and
But that doesn't make
That's
it
your
right.
taxes. You're
And-
collecting taxes for the borough. You was offered a room for the collected taxes
yeah.
because you requested compensation for using your building. And we wouldn't get, the borough wouldn't
That's
give it to
right. You wouldn't pay for my building.
That's right. No one else gets paid for their, using their building. So they offered you a room back there, and now you're refusing it. They'll give you a room back there with the
I didn't
locked
see
door.
a locked
Correct?
door in the.
Locked door.
Locked door. They already
And
get
it
into
will all be by appointment anyway. I would not have hours. You'll have to contact according to the meeting that was here, you would have to contact the borough to have a borough worker open the door because they're not giving me a key to this building.
I thought you weren't here for that meeting.
Of course.
That was a meeting that you and I discussed things with, you gave me a paper, and that meeting was canceled because it was not a legitimate one. It wasn't advertised.
We
did
didn't
not-
discuss it in that meeting. I think that meeting lasted like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we did discuss it because he gave me a paper
I think
with
that
all
was
this
a
stuff
different meeting that we discussed.
delineated on it.
That was in 2022. And that
That's
was,
correct.
and that was only a suggestion for them to begin the
Yeah.
discussion.
So there's never been a motion for a room at all from this council. If you did, under the right to know, I would like to see the minutes where that was executed.
Well, if it was voted on, you have the minutes.
If I remember correctly, he said, we asked him that night, we said, would you want this? And he said, I would have to think about it.
I'm sitting right back over where it said.
You
And he would
film
have
them.
to tell us at the next meeting
Look at
if
your
we wanted to
film.
do it or not.
That brings something else up that I know, well, it wasn't from me, one of the borough tax, I've never seen your tax things, because I'm in the Gary Township. But this person gave me some stuff, and in with his taxes that were sent to him was an advertisement for Vision Press. And he asked me if you were allowed to do that, and I said no.
I don't have an advertisement for Vision Press.
He had a card or something, and there was something in it, I
On the
forget.
back
what
of the
it
envelope,
was. What is it?
on the back of the envelope, he has a sticker on there.
I have,
There's something in it.
thank you, because it came to
I can't
my,
read it from there. Go ahead and read it.
It just says make payments to P.O. Box 125 Coalport.
that's right,
Vision Press, please do not go to the Vision Press with payments.
that's right,
And it says right here, prohibited by the solicitor.
yes.
No,
The solicitor is not gonna go against the Pennsylvania Department of Economic Development.
He said it was a conflict of interest in this meeting.
That's
It's,
gonna be
I
a
have
con-
it video.
You're twisting it around. He
Yeah,
said it was
twisting it to fit
If,
your own
if
agenda.
if it's unlawful for a Vision Press, anything to happen here in this building, then it's also,
This is a government building.
that's
Your
right.
office isn't a government building.
And it
That's
is.
the diff-
It's a State Department
No, it's
office.
not.
But if this is the building.
Yes, it is a
if-
State
If you
Department.
have a room here and this is the building to where taxes are to be paid,
Yeah,
this is the tax collection office, that's Vision Press.
yeah.
Tax collection should be here,
Yep.
no Vision Press should be here.
Yep, all you have to do is call the secretary and make sure that there's somebody here to open the door, because that's what
I
was
think that
on.
one meeting we
Yeah,
discussed.
by the
we
way,
give
you
a
put
key.
on one of those
Hour.
letters that you sent out that they were to call the secretary. I don't have anything to do with this. I'm not paid to do your job, and I won't. So
Jerry,
don't bring me
I
into
think
it.
that-
I'm not making
I think
your
I may
plans.
have been at that meeting when the solicitor was here and talking that. You had submitted a bill with Vision Press title versus turning in the actual receipt from the postal service or, I think that's where
Yeah,
he
but-
was getting.
Well,
the
that's when I was giving bills for using my building.
Right, but you can't.
I mean, it's still being used.
You can't do that unless it comes out of your compensation of the percentage that you get paid for collecting each one. That's my understanding of it.
So
Thank
all in all, for the last 2 weeks of this discount period, where can I go for 3 days to pay my taxes?
They just go to the post office and drop
No,
it
it
in.
says you will make yourself
Cost you
available
$1.20 for
for
that.
3 days. Where can I go to pay my taxes?
Well, right now, there is no office.
Well,
The borough hasn't
I guess you'll be sending
complied.
me notices then, because I won't pay my taxes.
That's your decision.
And it's your fault.
Well, it's not my fault.
You're not doing your job, so why don't you resign?
And that's your
You're not
intent. That's
collecting taxes
that's
the way
your
you-
intent.
You're not collecting taxes the way
I
you're
sure
supposed to.
am.
No, you're
I
not,
sure
not by
am.
the book, you're not
Yeah,
collecting
One time.
taxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we did again, do it. He said we have it, we do it now, I'm thinking I'm not the hard.
Question, one of you guys have a copy of the borough code?
No, but I have a tax, it isn't all in the borough code, it's in the
It's in
tax
the,
collector.
it's in the.
And I thought there was a section in the borough code.
Well, there is on
Call
something
tax
being
collector.
appointed and something.
The tax collector manual is very clear, very apparent.
And it's at my discretion,
Uh-huh.
according to that same
Oh, it
text.
says in there, it's not.
See you, Mr.
Thank you.
Kennedy.
Mr. Spade stated that we did not vote on it. So I'll make a motion that we offer Mr. Spade an office out there with the door, locked door for his, to collect tax, his property, the property taxes of the borough.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
No, Jeff. No, that way.
Wait.
Right,
I'm sorry, guys, but you can't vote on something that's not on the agenda.
I thought you could as a,
Emergency.
I think it's an
It's an
emergency.
I think it's an emergency.
This is at the end of the year.
It's an ongoing
discount
problem.
period and
Yeah,
Can you,
something that needs to be
state
done.
that again for me?
State that
It
again.
would be by appointment anyway. I'm not setting
I
up
made a
here.
motion to offer Mr. Spade, the tax collector, the corner office out there, and put a door on it with a lock, so it can be locked, for him to collect taxpayers' taxes in that office.
Okay, just property, just real estate, or what about the other
All
one?
borough taxes,
All
Okay,
taxes,
borough
fees.
taxes.
all taxes
Do you want
that he collects.
you want to add in for when she's here, the hours that, because there'll be a conflict because Jerry doesn't have a key to the.
Well, that's
to the
what I'm
building.
saying. According to the
Well,
document
I think
that I
we-
received, the document
Gotta keep the
said
building.
that
Didn't we
I would
discuss
have to contact a borough worker.
Get a key for the building.
Well, there's no key, there's that.
we could give them
Lock
the,
thing.
Well, you keep that door locked, don't you?
we could give you the password to the, then you would have access.
Straight in and
Hmm?
you can even open up this for the wheelchair ramp for those that are
Fix his
handicapped.
locks.
That need handicap accessible.
Then he
So
can-
you're not gonna require me to have a borough worker here?
No, we just said about,
No, I didn't think we ever,
No.
That was on the paperwork that I received.
I don't think.
That, and I said for the 20th time, that paperwork was a suggestion I gave to them when we were they were supposed to enter in to the discussion when you were handing those bills in for your electricity in your office and all that
When
stuff.
can we get a door?
That didn't mean, Jerry, that they were doing it.
Where one?
The problem with having an office is you're not supplying a computer.
No.
So when the
I
person
can go get one of
comes
the
and I
skills
mark their paperwork, you have no guarantee that I,
'Cause
I have no
retired.
guarantee you
I
did
don't know
anything when you give me a computer printout either.
yeah, that
No,
came
I
right
don't.
from the rack program.
Well,
I want,
I'll tell you, from my person that does my taxes, my wife's taxes, she says, bull crap. That is not for people, senior citizens, to collect the rebate on their taxes, property tax. That does not work.
I don't understand what you're
The
saying.
county sends out
That there-
a tax form with a
Right.
receipt. That receipt is what's supposed to be signed, dated, and the amount paid and given back to the payee.
Well, what I give you, what I've been giving the customers that send me their paperwork, is I send back a generated receipt that has the same identical information on an 8.5 by 11. It has the check number. The information that's on that 8.5 by 11 is what I inputted into the RAC program. The RAC program is what goes back to the county, the school, and to the borough. And if the information is wrong on that 8.5 by 11 that I send you, then you let me know and I can correct it. They don't see, after they send those little bills that you get, and people want that, and I send them back if they want them back. But when I send you an 8.5 by 11, that is what was inputted into the computer program that this council paid for.
Yeah, but if you send me that receipt that's on the tax form, then I know beyond a doubt that my taxes were paid. And if somebody comes to me 2 months from now and says, your taxes weren't paid, I have that receipt and I can say, look, right here, he signed it, dated it, and the amount is right there that I paid.
I sign it, I put a seal on the 8.5 by 11 now, I have new seals. I have everything on that 8.5 by 11 to prove to you that it was put into the computer correctly. I also have the bank statement as a backup that it's generated. The deposit slip has your taxes on it. You can come in my office and I'll show you all this.
But what
I
you're
have
saying
three.
is-
I have 3 different ways. Now, if you come up here, all I can do is stamp your that little stub and sign it, which is no problem at all. But you have no guarantee. And former tax collectors have missed people.
No,
They
I
actually
do
have
a
missed
guarantee,
people,
Jerry.
and I have the evidence on that.
You sign that receipt and give it to me. Once you give me that receipt, it's on you. If the
That-
right amount isn't input,
That's
it's on
right.
you, not
But
on
the
me.
other one guarantees that it's
As long as I
there.
have that receipt in my
You'll
hand that
have-
says I paid it, it's on you.
I can show you that in the bank deposit slip, it has your name, the check that you have. Then I photocopy your check.
So everybody's been doing it wrong for 50 years.
Well, I'm just telling you, I have
No, you're telling me that
I have
everybody's been
three
doing it
ways
And the
to
county's
show
all
you
messed up.
and prove to you that you paid your taxes.
Do you have that written down?
Pardon?
Do you have that written down?
I have, who
I made it. I made the
who
motion.
seconded it?
I'm done. I'm done.
The paper that you send to them, which I haven't seen, but from my understanding, what I've been told, that is not the RAC program one, that you've made up one of your own.
No. That's
No.
generated right up,
Okay.
and I can prove that.
I just
If you
asked.
come down to my office,
No,
I'll show you it as it prints right out. But this borough is not paying for that computer. It's not paying for my photocopier.
That's
It
your
refuses.
option to use that.
It's
All you
not
have
an
to do
option.
for me is
It's not
sign
an
my receipt
option.
and give it to
The
me.
county wants.
we don't have to, by law, we don't have to pay. We do have an
Well, the law
agreement
does
that we pay
to,
for
and
the
disagree
computer
with you.
program, the school, the county, and the municipality split that 3 ways. It's over $300. And the surrounding areas all do that with their tax collectors. There's no law about that. It's just something they've always agreed on doing. But rest,
So we're gonna give you the office with the locked door. Is that gonna be okay for you, or is there something else?
Is there a problem?
Well, the window, you'll have to seal that up some way that people won't be able to, I mean, you need a window like that in it. So it's a secure room so that nobody can get in there. And it still, if you want me to be there, it's going to be by appointment. So you're going to have to call.
Well, the appointment's up to you. That's up to you to decide for the people when they come in to pay them.
No,
You're collecting them.
if they say, I want to be there at 10 o'clock at night, I'll be there at 10 o'clock. But if they're not there, you know.
Well, the one from Buchanan Township, she puts a card in different colors for when it's due and when it's not due. She puts her times down, but then she also puts at the bottom something about
If you can't make the appointment, to schedule an
by
appointment.
appointment.
Schedule
Yeah.
for it.
That's
Correct.
the option then.
She
Just
sets,
what if you
she
want.
sets time to collect it, but if that can't meet your schedule, then where you have to make an appointment, then.
And I don't know if they
made.
have to do that. I think she's just doing that
Right.
as a
It's
courtesy.
a courtesy. Exactly.
I haven't read this whole thing. So I'll tell you.
And a time can be set on how late to pay them.
Yeah, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't think
All you have to do is say appointments will be made between 9 and whatever time in the evening. I mean, let's be reasonable about it.
And they don't call
I
me
go
for
with
the
the
appointment.
people.
They call you to
No,
make the
you
appointment.
don't.
Because I don't know when you're available.
I'm available when the people that want to come.
So.
That's the way I do
that
That's the way
room
I do my notary work.
Is that room sufficient? We
If
secure it.
it's lockable and I have the only key, in fact, I'll get the lock.
The maintenance man will probably have a lock. They
Yeah.
have a key. I don't. But they have a key.
Because
to every
I'll tell you why the reason. When I took over this position,
And
that-
before you start, be careful what you say because
I am going to be careful
Okay.
that you had access to it, the borough workers, and all the councilors. Sean, you had access to that room because it was not locked. And there was $11,000 and there was $1,500 cash missing. And nobody has admitted taking it.
Nobody took it to the best of your knowledge.
No, I'm telling you that
I said
somebody
be
did
careful what you
take
say.
it because it was not, there was $1,500 that I had to take out of my own savings and put into that.
And the council at that time, and I had just come on, told you not to do that. And you did it
After the
anyhow.
fact.
No.
After the
No,
fact.
you called Paul, you called
After
Neville,
the fact.
and he told you not to do it.
If
and
I
you did.
didn't do that, there would have been a bunch of bounce checks.
It doesn't matter,
How
then
do
it
you know
wouldn't
that
be
shortage didn't
audited.
come from when Mary and Bob had it? You don't know. Because you made a statement that
That's a
books was
true
not audited.
statement. That's a true statement because you haven't audited my books. Nobody's audited my books.
All right,
So how
that-
do you know where?
You should. You're required to audit my books.
No, you're not.
So the room, you got a key to it, it's secured. Is that sufficient?
I don't see any reason why.
So yes or
I've
no?
told you.
Yes or no?
I've told you I would do that before.
So when can I pay my taxes?
You guys, as soon as we can get the room,
You can pay your taxes. Go to the post office, have him stamp, have
Not
her
gonna
stamp
do
it
Jerry.
right there.
Not gonna do it.
Well, that's up to you.
Well, the postmaster isn't our tax collector.
No, but you're
That's
allowed
exactly
to mail
right.
it. You're allowed to mail.
Postmaster is not the tax collector, you are.
Okay.
So.
But I go by the postmark on it. So if you mail it one day before the discount period, I would go to the post office and have them
That's
stamp
not
it,
what the tax
stamp
collector
it,
manual says,
and then
Jerry.
it will go in there. And if I get it on the 7th of May, you still get the discount because I go by the postmark.
That's not what the tax collector manual says. It says for 2
I-
weeks prior to
I'm
the
not
end
going
of
to
the
argue.
discount
I'm not going
period.
to argue with you
It's
on
written.
that.
It's
It's up.
in
It's
writing.
my discretion.
It's in
It says
writing
that
by
right
state.
in the. I can even
It's
have
not at
somebody
your
else.
discretion, Jerry, it says you
We're
will
gonna
be
move on.
available.
Okay.
It's
For 3 days.
the hours are at your discretion.
Yeah.
What
Excuse me?
hours you make the hours.
You made a motion.
No,
Sean
even
seconded.
discretion
Yeah,
of
Sean
who
seconded it,
collects
correct.
it from it.
That's all
I
in
could,
favor.
I could send
Aye.
somebody.
What, you're doing this, I didn't hear what you said.
We voted on that motion that I made.
He motioned it.
Sean seconded
it. Yeah.
second.
Rick, Sean,
It
and,
passed.
oh,
Let
okay.
me make sure we get it twice.
You guys are mixing me up.
All right. Motion to approve treasurer's report. Where's the treasurer's report?
Pardon?
Where's the treasurer's report? I have papers everywhere.
Okay, okay, the AARP fund has $33,191.71 in it. And the general fund has $27,973.98 in it. And, oh, go ahead, you have to.
I make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I was gonna tell you then, the end of this month, the computer goes into Staples to get cleaned and redone and put better security on it. And I get to get the,
QuickBooks.
what?
QuickBooks?
Yeah, just, that was psychological, went out of my head. And, I have two people who've offered for free to teach that to me. So that'll take a while probably, but it'll
Once
be
you
on
get,
then.
once you get everything in there and it's plug and it'll figure it out.
It'll be the newest version that they have, so whatever that is.
All right.
Motion to go into an executive session for real estate matters.
I make a motion to go into an executive session for real estate matters.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
That means we all have to leave it, and make sure you document the time. You have to have the time in the minutes.
Okay. Correspondence and other communication. A letter from Jody Brennan, Director, Clearfield County Solid Waste.
Okay. Now in your packet that should follow will say spring community cleanup events at the top.
All right, after.
This one?
All right.
No, I put unsafe
Yeah.
building.
Straight after, I don't know where you're at.
Or am I either? I don't know, go ahead.
Okay, I talked to Jody Brennan, who's the head of the Solid Waste Authority
Should look like this.
in Clearfield County. You have it.
Oh, it'll be somewhere, go ahead. Keep talking.
And they offered to pay the $950 to get a 30-yard box if we wanted to have a community cleanup. Now that one that they're having in Clearfield there, you have to pay for some of that because they no longer have been able to contract. Tell me if I'm wrong, I think I got it right. They're no longer able to contract with sub companies who used to do this. So they have to charge now, and it's only certain things. We wouldn't be able to take electronics or oil or paint or anything, but we could take yard waste, old furniture, stuff like that. And they're offering to pay for that container. So I was asking if possibly we could do it on May 6th, and they could put it out here in the parking lot. We'd have to put a wee bit of money in to, keep it advertised for people. And I'm going to call,
We help clean the town up, that'd be something good.
I'm gonna try to get somebody to come for tires. Cause you can't do this tire thing anymore either in the landfills. So the other year when we were talking about it, when I first came on about doing it, I did find a company who would come and set up that day to take the tires, but I have to get them.
Probably the 30-yard box.
Yeah, what's the third? I take it it's a really big one.
Yeah.
That it's
I've had it before.
$950?
I've had one before.
Is that the biggest one they have? I would assume.
I think 40 is the biggest they have.
40, 45, something in that area, somewhere in 40 yard.
Okay. And we would have to have, I've already talked to the borough workers about being here, because you can't have people throwing stuff in there they're not supposed to. And, I come up and I was gonna ask if any of you guys aren't working, if you would volunteer, split some time with the workers. We don't have any hours set or anything, and Jody said if it comes up the day before or the day after, depending when they can bring it, if we wanna have a 2-day one, we can. So maybe if it doesn't get full the first day,
And that's what you have to put in there, accepting it until it's full.
that's good.
I mean, because
Yeah,
it could fill up in an hour. I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna take. I mean, it depends on what kind of,
What are you doing with recyclables, like refrigerators and stoves?
No,
she
there won't
said
be
no
appliances.
appliances.
No,
Excuse me?
Electronics.
No
no
appliances.
electronics.
No
I'll
electronics.
take all those if you want, if you need somebody.
we'll have a station set over there.
Have
You can advertise that.
Excuse me?
You could advertise that part.
Well, I do, I have business cards for that.
That would be, then you could take all the stuff, that would help not fill the,
Right,
Yeah, we
Dumpster
can't
up as
put 'em
fast.
in. Yeah, no appliances, no electronics, none of that stuff they have listed.
electronics can go up in, black
Black
snake,
snake.
you go the whole way up to the
Yeah.
top of black snake. They'll take it for free.
but if you wanted to get on the same page as us and you wanna come up and tell people they want any recyclables they don't want,
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm okay with that, if everybody
I
else is
do it in
okay.
between tax calls.
If everybody else is okay with it, I'm okay with you come up and, as much stuff we can get out of town,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a boom and I can lift it all up and put it on my
Right.
trailer.
that would be okay with me, as long as everybody else is okay with it.
I think we should set a time, the start and finish time.
Yeah, we definitely
And
have
then
to
with
do
your
that.
motion, give me a leeway if we can have it for 2 days. That doesn't mean we're going to.
Yeah, just have it set for until it's full, like, I mean, until
If
it's
it's
full.
full the first day, forget the second.
Yeah, I mean, 30 yards is a fairly big one, but I know 2 summers ago, whenever we were off for COVID, I think I got a 40-yard one and I was able to fill it up from the top of my house to the bottom of my house.
I can
It
have-
don't take that long to,
Well, I'm thinking of one property in Borough that probably could fill it,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like I say,
mean,
I know one property could fill
between Main Street and Railroad Street.
it. Yeah,
Well, I don't know what the address is.
you're right.
yeah, I say we,
It's costing $900 for the dumpster.
not us, they're going to pay for the dumpster.
I think she said 950. It isn't on here, but I think that's what she
Yeah.
said.
That's
So
a
we
good
would-
deal for the.
We'd have no costs actually in it.
No, just to
Just-
do
just
some
to advertise
advertising.
Yeah, just the advertising, yeah.
And if we get on the same page as Jerry, we can even take the small appliances or whatever.
But probably what you do is, if the guys could take, say it's a 5-hour day or something that day, if they can take 5 hours from the week and then they can get paid, take a couple off.
In regard to the tires, if you call Glendale year-round, there's a Northern Cambria company that takes tires. They'll come and take all that you have. But you'd have to talk to Bill Barnhart.
I know a couple places
I
that
know.
take tires, but they'll charge you for them.
Our owner did this a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they quit
And they
taking the
took
tires.
But they used to take the tires too,
Yeah.
but
Well,
But,
see,
this
the
new
Carrier
law,
and Coalport Borough used to all go in on that
Yeah.
and take a couple trucks up to, well, they had the prison at the time, but
Yeah.
now they're not allowed to do that and the landfills won't take tires, so.
alright. But yeah, I say we get that voted on at some point.
You wanna make a motion?
Are we allowed? Yeah, can we make a motion to vote on? Is it on the?
We have
Oh,
It's
yeah.
on there.
2 spots.
Make a motion to approve the cleanup day for May 6th.
Set a time. We wanna set it, like, I would,
10-4 maybe?
yeah, cause you wanna give people time that work daylight, well, would that be a Saturday, right? Is it a Saturday?
10, 11, 12.
I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a Saturday.
It is.
But still, someone would work night shift.
Just wanna make it 12 to 6.
What am I looking at?
You gotta get
Calendar.
people that
I
works,
don't know what calendar
works
is.
on Saturdays where they could,
May 6th. May 6th is actually a Saturday.
Saturday.
So that would, yeah, that would cover all, I mean, there are people who do work weekends, but that covers the majority of people. If you would do 10 to 4 or
12 to 6.
12 to 6,
Like, how about 10 to 6? Cover morning, before lunch and after.
all right.
Make a motion to approve the cleanup day for Coalport Borough, May 6th, between 10 and 6. Fill the dumpster until it's full. So if it takes 2 days, it takes 2 days.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Reports, officials, and committees. Mayor's report.
Okay, that's in the basket. There's 2 construction permits in the basket there. One's for demo, one's for building, and they're both from the Nittany Oil Company, Minute Mark.
Okay. Sure.
That looks funny down there. It's like real high in the air.
It's high, it's high. They had to do it.
Yeah.
See, sending it to the engineer was great. Then we weren't held
yeah, that's,
responsible.
what's it, that's because the flood zone project is right after.
They had to do it so many feet above
Yeah.
that.
Still don't know how they're gonna get in there with a wheelchair.
I don't know. They want it there, so
Yeah,
I'll put a ramp on my unit.
we'll get more taxes too. It's gonna be twice as big,
that's it.
more than twice. Yeah. Oh, personnel, I don't have anything with that. Buildings and grounds. Todd, did you look at that down at VFW maybe?
The
The ADT system they have?
no, we didn't go down there that day actually.
Okay.
I haven't been down since.
I'm in town. What time? Are you going Thursday?
No, darts are over.
Somebody's gotta get down and look. The VFW just got their system in from this company. And
It's up for the door, video intercom. Is that what
yeah,
you're talking
there's a
about?
thing there. Well, there'd be 2 of them, and it's not expensive. Like those other things were, what, 10?
Well, I mean, we don't even
13,000.
gotta get out and see it. I mean, we can decide. I mean,
Is the school still here? Or
Yes.
is it preschool?
yeah.
Yes,
It's gone.
No, they're here.
it's here.
I think they just got just this year so far.
They're still here till the end of this year,
Yeah.
but I don't have any news for you yet.
The last I heard, they were here till
I
the
wanna
end of
tell
this year.
you, I sent a paper around to everybody. I wanted to know how many keys were out. There's 24 keys out from the people who are in here.
I know I don't have any.
I don't have any.
I didn't mean here. Jeez, I
I
didn't
have
do
zero.
it.
I don't know how to keep my own house.
That they know of.
That they wrote down.
Well, that's, because you can take a key and go to Leo's or any key place
Yeah.
and be made.
Get one made, yeah.
You can have keys made, but you can't do that with them.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
They
If,
do it through the,
if you go, like, if you.
Army, they have a process where nobody can make one for it.
Or if you get it like through, Frederick locks over in Altoona, that stamp it, not to be copied by
That
Frederick.
stamp
Owen.
doesn't mean crap when you take the key and go to a
Like
machine
Rudy's.
that can make your own key.
Well, yeah, I mean, nothing's full safe, you know, something like that. But I know places where I've worked, had keys like that, they're stamped.
Yeah.
You know, that,
Your post office keys, it says you can't duplicate it.
Right.
I mean, it says regular
Anybody volunteer to go down to the VFW and
I'll
look at
go.
theirs so we can vote on this next time?
I'm not allowed to go.
You-
Should we
I'll
put this
go.
on camera?
yeah, I'll go, tell me when.
Whenever you want.
We get done in time now.
Can somebody motion to, table that till next meeting? We've been at this now since last November or something.
I motion to table the vote on the ADT proposal until next meeting.
I'll second the motion to table the vote on the ADP system.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We don't know.
Finance.
Finance.
Yeah, I motion to pay the bills for the month to keep the borough running.
I'll second the motion to pay the bills, keep the borough running.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It's on there twice. I'm assuming we only need to do it once.
Did I put it on twice?
You vote, put it on there twice.
I was nervous.
It's okay. Grants.
Okay, you have a letter from the commissioners,
That's this one that
That's
you
a
told us not to hide.
Fairfield County thing there at the top.
That's the one she said not to
That
hide.
one?
No, it has a little building at the top.
Yeah.
You need to start sitting beside me, Greg.
Oh, I found it.
I just-
Look at that, turn right to it.
I try to put it in order, it doesn't always work out.
Keep going.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go.
Um, Where to start here? Okay, the letter from commissioners is about the bridge down here, so they've awarded us $56,000 from the Act 13 Risk Bridge Funds. We awarded it, get it after the work is completed. And PennDOT's gonna help us get a grant, hopefully to finish that off and to pay the engineers. And also if we need a little extra, that can be used for the ARPA grant. What they're gonna try to do, you might be interested in this, or if anybody, I don't know your swing shifts. Wednesday the 12th, this Wednesday at 12:30. They're gonna come here and meet, different ones from PennDOT. Jody Brennan, who, by the way, she's the one who went to the commissioners and asked. I had to do the letter, but she went and asked them. She's very helpful. Who else? Sean Agosti and his boss. The people who own the property there, which is Mr. and Mrs. Zadurich now, because that's caving in, falling in. And because those creek sides, creek bed, the one is really starting to fall in, plus all the other stuff involved there. So Clearfield County Conservation District, I had a lady come down with that, and she thinks she can help us get some grants and do it all at once. When PennDOT does that bridge, then go ahead and redo, because she said the other side's gonna come down too. And I'm gonna ask them to go down and look there where that bridge and sidewalk is there at, on Route 53. They've closed that for many years, you can't walk over it anymore. So maybe they'll just go down. Oh, she called the Fish and Game Commission because they can get involved because there's Pennsylvania wild trout in that stream, which really surprised me. Because it's orange from
Yeah,
mine
I
runoff.
was down there the other day, there's sulfur in there, I don't know how it's,
Yeah, I don't
trout
think
are
there's-
staying in
Yeah, I
there.
don't
Up
think so,
above.
but-
That's what they said.
Up above where that, toward Udaville probably.
Oh, maybe up in there, up past the, yeah, up past Tipler, maybe, but down here in the borough, I can't foresee trout being,
No, it's, the other day was,
surviving in there.
It's the same, it's probably just grandfathered in the whole.
Yeah.
it's okay, as long as they really get some money in here to get
Yeah.
it all cleaned up would be nice. And then there's two runoffs that are really bad from up on the hill and north. And you can see where it's going in there and it shouldn't be, but now our guys can fix that. We won't have to pay somebody, they can fix that runoff. But, so I'll let you know, if anybody wants to come, it's at 12:30, we'll meet here and then go down. I know you're not familiar with North Central, but it's a group who does a lot of work for DCED out of Bridgeway. And I've been in contact with them, and this money that they call BIDE money or something, all that infrastructure money, the big deal has just started to come in. Is that Joe?
Come on in.
Go ahead and do it.
Oh, we want to vote on this while we're still on this here topic. Do we got to vote on?
Yeah, we don't need, oh, yeah, a set.
Let's vote on that before, that way there we're,
But we're going for some multimodal from PennDOT.
but we got to accept this grant first,
Yeah.
right?
Since that's there.
All right, so you need to, I'll make a motion to accept the grant from the commissioners.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
All right, just in time, you're up.
Oh, sorry, guys.
No,
I was trying to time it.
we're just waiting on you to
I
come.
saw my watch. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go. Good evening, everybody. My name's Joe from the Coalport Borough. Couple things I want to go over tonight. We have a bid from J.W. Fleming concerning the, I don't know if you have a copy of it, concerning the dump truck, hydraulic hoses, the plow. There's some work that needs to be done on it, okay? We purchased that truck in 2016, and the plow was a Boss plow purchased at the same time. The truck was from Stuckey's, the plow was from Fleming. So 2016, it's 7 years old. It needs some work. We've done nothing, no maintenance has ever been done to the plow. The hydraulic fittings, let me give you a little bit about it. Because of the salt spreader, everything is underneath, it's rusted out. All of our hydraulic connections and so on and so forth. It was a real struggle this year, just getting everything to fit together. I know Steve from Fleming. Went down to see him. I took the truck down. We spent about 45 minutes going over the whole truck. There's some work that needs done on the plow because there's nothing that's ever been done in 7 years to the plow. It needs flushed. There's a little bit of a kink to the plow itself, something just from plowing and hitting snow, what have you. And the connections in the back where the salt spreader is, everything's rusting out and we need some new connections. So I have a bid here, I'll pass it around you guys, that shows some of the work that needs done. It is just an estimate. According to Steve, everything isn't set in stone as far as the estimate goes. It could be less, but he put in there what he thought what needed done for the truck to bring it current, just because of the fact that nothing's been done in the 7 years. Things wear out. Some of the hydraulic lines are worn out too. They're rusting out. Going forward, since Walt is going to be retiring and I'm going to be kind of doing all of these things, I think it would be advantageous to upgrade and make it a little easier to put all the connections and everything together. We struggled this year with putting everything together, just because of the antiquated 7 years. You know, all the salt, all the beating on the product and the plowing, it just wore down the equipment. So that is the bid from him to do all the work. That's the plow, the salt spreader, all the connections. We haven't taken anything off the dump truck because if we're going to do this, we need to take it down as is with the plow on, with the salt spreader on. He wants everything intact so he can hook it up accordingly so it's correct. So that's what he came up with. That's what he sent us.
Well, do you say about how much downtime would be for that?
He's going to have it probably for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, hopefully less. But he just wants everything intact and keep it on because we were going to remove the plow, remove the salt spreader, take everything off. He said leave it on. It's easier for him to do the work with everything on. So that's why I wanted to come up this evening and talk about that.
There was another thing too. What was the other thing?
Yes.
Once I take a look at this.
4866.7.
I don't have that on for tonight to vote on, but you can do that next meeting. Cause I have to ask about advertising. I was just doing tonight about.
How much are you looking at? I'm curious. No one's mentioned any price yet.
It's 4,800.
4,800.
4,800. And the reason why I reached out to Fleming is Fleming is a Boss plow dealer. And that's the plow we have as a boss plow. We purchased the plow from him, not from him. The gentleman who had the business before I was friends with, and he passed away. So Steve bought the business, and it's a boss plow business, and he's the boss plow dealer. The reason we went back to him because that's who we bought the plow from. I just think that it needs, some things need done to it. We had a cupcake winter. We got lucky this year. We really didn't do a lot of salting. We didn't have to do a lot of plowing. That's not normal. So in preparation of a true winter in PA, for myself, as the person who's going to be running the plow, running the salter, I would like to have equipment that's adequate and it's working properly and that I can pop, plug in and go and do what I need to do for the borough. That's kind of why I talked to him.
I agree.
You know, you can get a subsequent bid.
I don't think you need to.
I'm not in favor of that only
You don't have
because
to.
only,
It's the dollar amount.
Yeah.
You're well below, I
Yeah.
think, the required bid
Well,
amount.
he's the boss plow dealer and he's a good guy and he knows that we're the borough. He knows that we're a small entity and I talked to him about it. So look, I said, you got to keep this reasonable for us to do. If not, we're not going to do it. And that's what he came up with. And I'm hoping that he's going to try to keep it below that.
And that's gonna put the truck up to where it needs to be now.
Well, it's been 7 years. Nothing's been done,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. I mean, you know, I plow with it this year. I've done a lot of plowing and it could use a little touch up, to be honest with you. Some things could use some improvement. And I think what he wants to do and him and I talk, I think it's going to make it easier for us to just run it and run it efficiently. Just all of the connections being above the salt spreader is huge because everything underneath is rusting out. It's all rusting.
Has Walt been keeping any kind of a maintenance, like a little change of filters and stuff regularly?
We do all that.
Okay.
We do all that. But
Okay.
what they're going to do, which I'm not sure that's ever been done, only because this is my first year, the whole plow system is going to be flushed.
Yeah.
All that hydraulic fluid, all the filters, that whole thing's going to be flushed. I don't know that it's ever been done, sir. To be honest, in 7 years, I don't think that's been
I
done.
think it's supposed to be done in 5 years.
He told me there's a yearly system that can be done, that can be flushed, but it doesn't have to be the complete system. Apparently, we're not using the right oil for the plow. We use a hydraulic oil,
Yeah.
and they recommend. And my understanding, how it was explained to me was there's a viscosity issue with what we use versus the Boss plow oil for temperature. And that's what they're telling us when I went down, because I told him what we used. He asked me, because when I went down, it was actually, we had a little bit of oil coming out of the plow. We had to put some oil in it throughout the year. Traditionally, that's not normal to do. Apparently, if the system's sealed and we have some
It should
leaks,
be a sealed
we're
system.
losing fluid is what we're doing. We're losing fluid. Traditionally, if the system's sealed and you fill it up at the beginning of the year, you shouldn't necessarily, unless you have a leak, you shouldn't have to replace that oil. So you flush it once a year. I think every 4 or 5 years you do some kind of maintenance. He told me on the Boss plows. He said we have a great plow. The V plow we have from 2016 is a nice plow. They don't make them like that anymore, but we need to take care of it so we can have it another 10, 15 years is the way it was explained to me.
In your bid, are there new pumps?
There is more new working parts in the auger and salt spreader system than there is in the plow. The plow is actually in pretty good condition. There are some frame, potentially spring issues where when you lay the plow down, the one side stays up and the other side's down, and it's just from plowing. I mean, it's just from running the plow and 7 years. I mean, we've been plowing with that truck for 7
Makes
years.
the work for you harder.
What's that?
I said, the way it's working out, it's harder work for you.
Well, and
All the way around.
here, let me finish with this about this plow. This system, if we had to replace what we have, we're looking at probably $13,000 to $14,000 for the system that is in the pickup truck, the dump truck now, versus this 4,800 in maintenance, which should get us another 7, 8, 9 years of not having to do it. But to replace it, he said it's $13,000-$14,000 to replace what we have. He said if you don't do something, he said you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to replace apparently just the unit on the front of the plow that is the hydraulics and makes it tilt and move. And I'm not a plow. I'm not versed on plows, but the way he explained it to me, just that unit itself is almost $8,000. That where the plow is, because it's a V-haul, that housing and all the controls that are in there that comes from the truck is like $8,000. So, if it's entirely up to you to do it. I think from what they showed me, they spent about 45 minutes going over everything with me while I was down there. And a lot of things they said make sense. When they get into it, are we going to spend this much? Maybe we don't. I mean, they don't know that until they tear some things down, take it apart. They just were going by what they saw when I was there. So, that's all I know.
Can we get it on the agenda for
Yep.
next
I have it
meeting?
written down.
We can't vote on it tonight because it's not on the agenda. but
Okay,
we can-
that's perfect. I'm going to reach out to Steve, let him know. I told him I had to bring him before a meeting. And I'll let him know, we're not going to remove the plow and I'm not going to remove the salt spreader because they need that.
The other way
Those
we
two.
can vote on anything tonight if it was an emergency, but I
No, it's
I
not.
don't feel
It's
that's
not.
a-
But I mean, they need those things to stay on for them to work on them, so they know that that's a whole cohesive thing and it's working all together. So,
If I can interject, you're almost gonna need to remove the blocks. I mean, it's gonna be extra work for you. There are some major issues with some potholes that need serious attention.
They know.
No, well, it needs done now, not waiting till the weather gets warm. The weather is warm, but it's
No.
bad.
They
I
have
mean,
a lot to
Railroad
do.
Street, the bottom of, I think it's called Railroad, that comes up across. There's
That's
some of that,
bad.
Lower Railroad Street there,
yeah.
right
there-
above Rudy's there.
Yeah, it comes up across,
Yeah.
well, our plan, it's Jack, is that correct?
yes.
My name's Joe. Our plan is Wednesday morning is to heat up the remaining coal patch that we have and go down and
It's
take
probably
care
not
of
good.
what we have product wise to use. And then
I
we're,
mean, I know that they attempted to put shell in some of the holes, but the shell's just bouncing out.
He knew that when, that was
Yeah.
down at the bridge. Walt
Yeah.
knew that when he did that, but that was temporary.
Yeah.
But it's really hard for one person to cold patch, so he has to
Absolutely.
wait till Joe's here better. to do
so Wednesday, our plan Wednesday morning, because we're gonna have
Yeah.
temperatures that are 60 degrees. Here's the thing. First of all, there's a lot of things that are gonna change this coming year and going into 24. We're gonna look at some new product because the coal patch that we have, it's okay. I'm going to a class in June about coal patch to get certification in coal patch. What we're using now is very antiquated. It's just old school. I'm going to call it junk, for lack of a better word, for the simple fact that if you don't have a certain temperature outside, we need to heat that with a propane torch. We put it in a bucket. We have to heat it to soften it. Once we fill the hole, we tamp it, but it's not always adhering.
Yeah,
Okay,
You use
so-
old material, it's, a lot of times it loses its, the tar or oil base or whatever is in it.
Well,
Oh, there you go.
but there is other products that we have been.
There's newer markets.
There's other products that are available to us, and it's just a matter of, to be honest with you guys, it's just a matter of what monies are available, what can we spend, what can we buy, and what can we get to use that is more just better product that's going to stay in a hole longer, because there's a lot of better product out there. It's just a lot more money. So what was done in the past maybe has worked, but my goal is through the certifications and working with the State Department and getting certified in some different things, is to learn about these products, that when we fill a hole, that hole stays filled and it stays attached in that hole. Would it be awesome to pave every road? Listen, let's get a couple 100,000. And we can pave every road in Coalport, and we don't have to worry about it for the next 10 years. But that's not feasible. You know, my projection, I talked to Mary Sue today, there are 6 streets that I would love to get paved this year. Do we have the money to do that? I don't know. It all depends on what money comes in, what grant money is available, and what we can afford, because I'm sure that the borough has to match some of this money that's coming in. So I can't, you know, Walt and I have talked, we have earmarked, there's probably 6 streets that really, really, really should be done first. And it's just a matter of getting a bid for the paving to find out what we can afford to do. So it is a project in the making. We've been talking about it. I mean, I'd love to see it done, and especially when it comes to plowing. Some of these manholes, I mean, we got to raise the plow and then go down over, because if we hit them, I mean, the truck almost stops. You know,
PennDOT issue or offers to the municipalities a guy to come around and look with you on certain roads. I can't think of the guy's name. Sean Augusty.
Yeah.
You know, you may want to look at that. You have liquid fuels money,
Yeah.
which can be
Yeah,
used for
Right.
road
We know,
repair.
we all know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
I mean,
That class is gonna be excellent. Councilman Mangus and I went to that class.
it's actually in June. It's 2 days
Yeah.
certification.
We
So
took it last year.
I mean, I'm excited about doing it. I had a little intro last year for some new products. I was down at the convention center, and there was so much information, it was almost overwhelming. And I didn't really have a chance to talk to a whole lot of people because there were so many people there, and they were just doing mini seminars. But there's a lot of
Yeah, I was there too.
there's a lot of coal patching products that are available, coal patching, but like permanent coal patching, but it's a lot more money from a borough to purchase it. But when you use it, it's already soft. We don't have to torch it. Stand there with guys, you put that in a bucket, you're standing there for 20, 25 minutes just to heat it up if it's cold out, not above a certain temperature, just to lay it in and do it. That's why coal patching in winter is so difficult, because it takes so much to heat it up. And then if you don't have that hole completely cleared out, and it's got to be bone dry before you set that coal patch in and tamp it, you hope that it takes, depending on what time of day you do it and what the temperatures of the road, because that will it will shrink, unfortunately, because it's heated, then it draws in. So you almost have to sit there for 2 hours. Once you fill the hole, you sit there, and if you stay there long enough, if it's cold enough, you'll watch it come away from the edges. So you're like, okay, let's put some more in. You know, so it's like 4 hours for a couple holes. So I think there's other products out there that we're going to research, and hopefully that's a little better. The other thing I have to bring up, which I did reach out to McCarl's and I didn't get a response back. I had a gentleman from McCarl's do a complete system check and BTUs and all those things as far as the heating system in this building. He reached out to me. He has a couple plans in place, whether it's going to be propane or oil for the whole entire building. What we have downstairs is antiquated. We're losing over 60% of our heat through the floor every single day, 24/7. We are losing it. Just for numbers' sake, because I'm a numbers guy, this year so far we spent $2,500 for coal. We spent $350 for wood, which is $2,850. That's not including. I think we ballparked the payroll hours for Walt and I to run the furnace, because him and I run probably a 4 or 5 hour cycle. Other than we're not here overnight, we try to stoke it so we're good from at least 10:30 until 6. Somebody's always here at 6. Some days I'm here at 5:30 to keep the building warm. But we're well over $9,000 in payroll. So you take that 25 plus the 350 is 2,850 plus 9,000. We're at 11,000 and almost $800.
That's not counting the taking the truck out and getting that free wood
the slab board.
Slab
We
wood,
get-
if they've had to use that.
We've had, we're on our sixth load. Are you familiar with slab board? What they skim up? We're on our sixth load this year, this winter. Just because, first of all, we got garbage coal. That coal we got this year was the worst I've ever worked with in my entire life. It just didn't burn. A lot of bony. I mean, we have a pile in the basement. It's got to be 5 foot high. And just, it's hundreds of pounds that we spent money for. So he came up with a propane system or an oil system. I tried to reach out to him today. It was a little late in the day, just because I was busy. And hopefully I get back to him. But he's going to give us a bid on both. I think it's something that we should look into. I mean, I think for the amount of money that we spent this year, listen, I'm all about making money. I'll come up and do it. I don't have a problem doing it. But if we can save the borough and the town the money and get an updated system, and apparently, according to him, propane is so efficient versus oil and versus coal is what he's talking about. They went over and measured all the BTUs. They literally walked through the whole building, measured every radiator, how many rungs are in it. So they broke it down for the whole building. So he did a thorough job. I actually thought we were going to get it. I wasn't sure if it was mail or email. Very soon didn't see it. So I'm hoping that we get it soon. But I think we got to find the money to do it. I think it's advantageous to do it. I think it's going to be good for the next 35 years, well beyond when I'm going to be here. But I think it's going to be cost efficient, because I can guarantee you we're not going to spend $11,000 for propane. I can tell you that.
That's
We
what
might have to
have
spend
do in order to
$3,000 in
get
propane.
grants. We have to have, when you write the grants, that's the information you have to have.
Yeah.
You just can't say, I want money for this or that. You have to show them what it is. So that's the beginning. I'm hoping to get it for the whole building.
Would they be able to zone each section of the building, like
Well, what?
zone for the library, zone for senior citizens, zone for?
No, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why we're not doing it. Okay. First of all, there's a lot of things we could talk about. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. One of the first things is the nursery school even going to be here next year? I don't know that. My guess is no, they're not going to be here, because I don't know if you're all aware of what's going on. Even if they get a charter, there's so many things that they need to do or have for that room. The borough's not going to spend the money. I wouldn't spend the money, because now they're coming. If they get a charter, they're going to be brand new, which means the borough now is going to have to come up to code. Right now we're grandfathered in. So that means that A, B, C, D, E, and F is going to have to be changed to this building for it to come up to code for their charter. I'm not doing it if I'm the borough. I'm not spending all the money. I don't need what they pay for rent. But I would not do that as a business owner. I would not have them spend all this money, because you're going to have handicap benches. You're going to have to do all that stuff. Why will we do that? For 6, 7, 8 months out of the year. Right now, all those years they ran it as is. But if they do a new charter and they want to stay here, we're going to be obligated to do that as the owner of the building. So that's just an FYI for you guys. I don't know if you knew anything about that, but if that happens, we're going to be on the hook to do all those upgrades to make that school compatible with the rules of what's going on. I don't think the borough's going to do it. And I don't think they're staying there. I think they're going to look for another building, because they know we're not going to do it. So that side of that building is going to be empty. Right now, the thermostat is in that location that controls this entire building. Okay? So zone-wise, we are going to do it as 2 zones. We are going to do that zone if they're not there. And that's all dependent on if they're there or not. Because it's about heating. And senior center has to be heated. They're going to be there. They've committed. I think they're going to be there for a long time. Senior center has to be heated. Heating the halls is important, and the council room. That room can be turned down so that it does not draw all of that. And I think it's cost effective. According to him, we're looking at just the system itself to do propane The system itself is almost $4,000 cheaper just for the unit, and the labor is a quarter of the cost versus oil to install. And he said one guy, this is what he told me, one guy can carry that propane furnace down those steps. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, right? I mean, because I've done a lot of things throughout the year. One guy can carry a furnace, but propane apparently is so high efficiency right now. And he said it's just so easy to run and it's so efficient. You know, and the only thing we would have, well, I mean, Walter will be retired, but the only thing I have to do is come up and control the heat temp to see what's going on weekends, come up and turn it down. But according to him, it's super efficient. But right now, we're losing 60% of our heat.
Thermostats are programmable too with that whenever they
Well,
come in. And
I asked him when he did the bid to make it all current, make it all new. I mean, and if we wanted
thermostats
to,
they have now, you can set for Monday at
well, yeah,
8 o'clock, have it
That's
60
right.
degrees.
I mean,
and
it can come to your phone.
Yeah.
I mean, my son does HVAC, and I thought about calling him, but he's so busy in Chambersburg. He just doesn't have
Yep.
time. But so this guy from McCarles was pretty sharp. I mean, we spent 2 hours with those guys.
All right.
They did all the BTUs for the whole entire building. So he said we needed 240,000 BTUs. That furnace downstairs was almost 700,000. So we're trying to heat up a 700,000 BTU furnace to heat up 240,000. We're chasing our tails downstairs. We have spent so much money, guys, on this system down here. So I'm hoping when the numbers come in that you guys will look at it. I know Mary Sue's trying to get a grant or to check into grants so we can do this, but I think with the money we spent this year, and we're going to spend it next year as well too. But we're definitely, here's the other thing too. We price not coal because I'm not doing this junk that we got this year. I won't do that. I mean, I spent so much time. It's not burning. This coal that we have is not burning. But if we get nut coal, we're looking at just in coal, at least $3,800. And that's 12 ton. We got 20 ton of this stuff this year. So you're looking at a lot more money, nut coal wise, because it burns. I've worked with that. It'll hold heat. But I don't know. I mean, I just think that we're spinning our wheels. We're spending a lot of money I don't think we have to spend. But if we can get a grant to change the system, I mean, I think it's well worth it to do it. But as soon as he gets me those numbers, I'll get it to
Get the
Mary Sue.
numbers, yeah, you can get it to us.
And oh, absolutely. I mean, because I'm curious to see how much it's going to be as well
Yeah, you
too.
gave a lot of good information there, you know, so we're pretty well, I don't know about the other guys, but I'm getting kind of feeling what you're saying about what you're paying and what you're gonna be saving, or paying
Oh.
for what you're doing.
It's
So.
listen.
yeah,
I'm a numbers guy,
Yeah,
and
So-
and Mary Sue and I talk.
He gives me numbers.
And you know, I mean, you know, listen, I have my own business in Altoona, and it's all about payroll. And you know, listen, as I said, I don't mind making money, but if we don't have to spend that money and we can put that money into downtown or the buildings or the roads, let's put that money into the roads. Let's do something better with that money than putting it downstairs and just dumping it, because we're wasting. We chased our tails this year. And you know what? It wasn't cold. Guys, it wasn't cold. I mean, we spent nothing on salt. We spent hardly anything on man hours for plowing and salting this year. I mean, we did a little bit, but this is not a traditional winter. So it's just going to be more next year if we have a hard winter and it's cold. So that, you know, that's the other side of the coin for me, you know, but
So tell him what you did today then too.
what I do today? What did I do? My God,
You took the
listen.
mower.
Oh yeah, we took the zero turn mower down to Schuster's in Clearfield.
Sugar.
What's it called?
Sugar.
Thank you.
Sugar, it's where you
Thank
got it.
And we're getting it serviced. We're getting the blade sharpened, oil changed, getting it tuned up. last year we had a lot of problem with it shutting down. You know, I'm used to, if you're running a mower, you can run 2, 3, 4, 5 hours
Yeah.
in that size mower and not blink an eye. What kept shutting down after an hour? It would shut down, you try to start, it wouldn't start. And then it wasn't working on full throttle. So we took it the other day, we're gonna be, he said probably 2.5, 3 weeks out, and he's gonna refurbish it and get it ready to go, because we got a lot of grass to cut.
Yep.
And we're
Yeah.
cutting it, I try to do it at max every 7 to 8 days, just because if you get behind you just,
Well, you're asking for trouble.
well, it just looks terrible.
Yeah.
I like things to look nice, the park, and where they land the helicopter and all those things. I like it to look nice. And if you get all those clippings sitting around, I think it looks terrible.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's just my thing, you know,
I mow
so.
my grass 2 days a week in the summer.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's there. We dropped it off today. So hopefully they can get it back ASAP, and it's running efficiently, because I struggled with that last year too. It just didn't operate properly. And that's just the other thing, guys. There's some equipment we could use that could be more efficient for us to function properly. Our backhoe is okay. We could really use a Bobcat just for the small stuff, just to get in. We got some road work coming up this year that we really need to do. The backhoe's okay. It's old. You know, I'm not gonna lie. When I run it, it's old. It's like, you know, it's kind of like a little T-Rex thing going on. But there's some other equipment that we could use that I think would help us.
The issue with that's gonna be money. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
well, I
gotta work
know.
around with the money we got, what money we can get.
Yeah.
And, so for like I said,
But you know, we need somebody to. I mean, and I offer my services to Mary Sue. I'm just the borough employee. I'm willing to help the borough because I live here, so I'm about making it a better place. So if you guys need help, either research or what have you, I know there's a lot of used equipment that is available through the state. That there's some kind of portal that I'm aware of. I don't know a lot about it.
I've been on it.
That we can purchase for a very reasonable price, upgrade equipment. It's not new, but it's newer than what we have, you know, and maybe a little more workable than what we have. You know, reach out. If you guys need a hand, or I know you're all busy. I'm glad you guys all came tonight. It's like I haven't seen anybody in like 3 months or 2 months.
Oh, you haven't
All right.
been here, that's,
I have been
you
here.
missed 1 month.
All right, but if you guys need help, let me know. I'm willing to help you guys and check out stuff and stuff like that. So
all right, thank you.
absolutely,
we'll get together on that and get this straight. No.
guys, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
As soon as McCarl's gets with me, we're
What's
gonna
her
pass that information on to you, McCarl's.
MC,
MCCARLS, McCarl's. Good guys. He really did. He really spent a lot of time in getting this thing figured out and fine-tuned. And he feels propane is going to be the best way to go. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know the cost per gallon propane oil, but apparently the installation of old tanks and the galvanized pipe going out through the wall, it's so costly versus and apparently propane so efficient. So
All right.
thank you guys. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Unfinished business,
oh,
auditor's proposal.
yeah, we're supposed to be auditing last year, like now. And, we need the engineer to, don't you remember, next year the stuff needs voted on in January if we can at all. So the auditor's proposal, same as last year. This year he only has to do 1 year, not do 3 years. And the engineer's contract is the same. But gave you the engineer's contract to look at. I think you two got it the last, that night you were, the two of you were here. And I need him because of this bridge, and you have to have an engineer, PennDOT won't do it without that.
Yeah, they're both. We need them both. No way to vote
I
on
didn't
them
even write their
separately.
name down, did I? It's Young, Oaks, and Brown for the auditor. And the engineers are Stifler and McGraw.
we need to vote on them separately.
I think so.
Make a motion, to accept the auditor's proposal for the audit the books for 2022.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
I guess I'll make a motion on the engineer's contract.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, vote on tax collector's request to collect the local occupational privilege tax as in the ordinance book.
Now,
That's by Keystone. Keystone does that. The resolution is what I was hoping that you were going to, I thought that was on the agenda.
the resolution, Jerry wrote a resolution, but Keystone wrote the resolution, the way they want it. And, I've been in touch with them. Burkheimers was doing it. That contract expired a long time ago. And they even
Is that what
suggested,
this is a
yes.
Ford Keystone? That's the one you said about before, right?
Is this? This is the one that I did. Is it the same one?
I'd just like to be, if I may approach, I'd like to be able to talk to them. So whatever resolution you do, because I need to supply them with information, and it should not be just unilateral, but bilateral. So I'd like to get, is it the same thing?
The only difference is this is, I don't know, this is crossed out.
They had Jerry's.
Okay.
They sent me this. I talked to the guy quite a few times.
Yeah, it's the same other than,
And I
yeah,
sent
that one
this,
section's crossed out.
And then you have to establish, now I think, is it in here? The code, ordinance 194 has a provision in 10.100.199. Any part of the ordinance 194 that does not have a sanction, that applies. And so 220 is what we're dealing with here. It's back taxes. We have half the people in the borough are not paying per capita tax. I think if you're going to have to incentivize this, do they want to pay $200 and some dollars? Because once it goes to the magistrate, it's $109.
I thought you said that's what the Keystone can do. They
Yeah,
have power to
they
do
can
that.
do that, but you want to be able to have a sanction. They're not applying any sanction, but if you tell them that your ordinance requires a sanction on it, then I think you'll get more people. I'd rather pay $4.90 than $200, because they're gonna take you to court if you don't pay.
they're not gonna take them to court. They have the power, they have the, that word. They have the legal means to go ahead and garnish your wage, put it on your wages.
Yeah, you can attach the wages,
Going to
or
court.
you can go to court.
Yeah, but Jerry, going to court, I know you'd really like to do that, but
Well,
it
not that
costs
I
a lot of
like it.
money.
If they find out that it's gonna cost them a lot of money, like today, the guy just paid $4.90. I said, if the council passes sanctions on this, at a minimum, it would be $50 on top of the $4. And does the county do that? Yeah. One time I missed paying a tax on my property in Beccaria Township.
Who revised this?
Keystone,
So this is what they're saying to do.
yes. His was,
This is what you got crossed out.
They did that, I did not.
What did they cross off?
It says, whereas the Borough of Coalport has an ordinance 194, wherein ordinance 194 100.99 provides a sanction of $50 penalty for violation of 220 per capita tax, 200.01 occupational privilege tax responsibility due in the Borough of Coalport. The lawful sanction shall be applied to the recovery of any levied tax in the violation of delinquent with payment due, and that's
See,
what's
they're gonna
crossed out.
levy $20. They put $20 on plus the the $5.50. And what they're doing, if you allow them to exclude that sanction, Borough gets nothing. And they're not charging you, they're charging the taxpayer for this. I know it seems harsh, but how are you gonna get 200 and some people? I received in the mail the other day, they said I'm exempt, I signed a paper exemption for the Coalport per capita tax. And I said, no, we have no exemptions. Only the school has an exemption. Now, you council can amend the ordinance and say that we have an exoneration. But you have to do that in the ordinance. The ordinance says every individual living in Coalport Borough must pay per capita tax of $5. If you pay it in the discount period, which ends on April the 30th, if you pay it before the 30th, you have a discount of $10 or
10 cents.
10 cents. Thank you.
For now, I say we go with what Keystone suggested us to do. I mean, if this is what they,
Yeah, his was a 3-page one, but like I told you before,
I just included the law.
If
All right.
Keystone's recommended,
page after page on it.
recommended
so then let's just go with what,
Keystone goes with.
Yeah.
I make a motion.
Wait, excuse me. Did I talk to you about this? If I'd like, the solicitor still has this. Okay, he was away for 2 weeks, so we're running a little bit behind. He has this. If you could, because I have the motion, or it was gonna be done tonight, if you could table this and put it in your motion table till next meeting, then you can do it for sure next meeting. And then this will be done. But like I said, this is the one Keystone wrote. That's all it is.
Your solicitor is responsible for all legal, so it would be to your advantage to have
Just to wait and
have the
for-
solicitor.
All right, I make a motion that we table this till next meeting.
All in favor?
All right.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We're on
Thank you for privilege to
that. It says, Mr. Spade, tax collector for a borough, must present the name of his deputy collector at the next borough meeting. Got one?
The deputy tax.
Oh, you want one today?
No, it says
Next.
next.
You good with that?
Yeah.
We don't need to do anything.
Thank you.
With that?
Hmm.
Don't need to do anything with that? Next borough meeting, we'll have deputy tax collector. New business. Vote on Mike Sokola's offer to buy Mitsubishi tractor mower for $500 and $200 for
I
the
think
mower.
Joe would talk to you about this.
Yeah, we already.
Yeah, Mike's,
Yep, I
Mike's
seen it in there.
letters in there. And,
Once again, we said about getting jumped out of here.
it doesn't run. He's 500 plus 200, I'll give you $700 for it.
You get that much out of scrap.
And then the Cary Township, one of the guys was up here for something one day, excuse me, and the street sweeper brush, they just bought something new or something, they said they were interested in buying the brush and give it to us, give 200. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware, you've noticed that we've been hiring a company to clean the
Yeah.
streets.
Streets, yeah.
It takes like I don't know how many hours a day or something to even hook that brush up. They wait until, that's our workers, they wait until,
I
A day
appreciate
it's
what they've
damp.
done too when I'm on a motorcycle.
you know, it's damp or raining, because it makes the dust.
The state did a couple weeks ago down Main Street.
Yeah, and they're supposed
At
to
like
call
6
before
o'clock
they
in the
go.
morning.
Then Monk
It
goes
was
and
early.
gets everybody to move their vehicles, but they didn't call yet.
It looked like majority of the vehicles weren't there. Like I mean, it didn't look like they had to go around. But
But
all right,
we can take, it was $1,200 the last 2 years, I think, does that sound right? And we hire that company to do that, and you can take it out of your,
Liquid fuel.
liquid fuels.
and we need to vote on that, right? Which would have to be.
They're gonna have to call and see when,
All right.
well, I better get that on for next
Yeah, I was
time.
gonna say we're gonna want that here soon. It's getting to be the time of the year that we
Yeah.
should already had the street swept.
Yeah, that we better vote on that next meeting, then.
So
We'll have to call and
All
see.
right, so
how
right
much-
now we need to make a motion to accept Mike Colick's offer for the $500 for the mower and $200 or $500
mower tractor and
tractor,
200 for the deck.
mower.
Yeah.
All right, I make a motion to accept Mike's bid on that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, vote on Bucari Township's offer to buy street sweeper brush for $200.
Yeah, I don't have a letter from him, but they told the guys, but just if you motion for it and you want them to do it, they don't do it.
We don't use it for nothing, just that's there
Just
for,
kind of wait, see what they come down with.
we haven't used it for years. Just that it's sitting around here.
But it's like you said, it takes two guys quite a few hours to even get it on and take it off, and they wait till it's kind of like, rainy or damp out, because when they sweep it, it makes the big cloud, where that other professional one doesn't do that.
All right,
Make a motion to accept the Cary Township's offer to buy a street sweeper brush for $200.
Second
All in favor?
it.
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the removal of the third pavilion in Beechwood Park by the borough workers as soon as possible due to safety reasons.
It's
Yeah,
in
that's
bad shape.
Yeah,
But it needs to get tore down before somebody gets hurt on it.
very dangerous.
That's the original one?
Yeah, the old ones.
Yeah.
That's the third
I
one
think
they
it's
call
once
it.
way over it, yeah.
I make a motion to have the pavilion tore down by borough workers as soon as possible for safety reasons.
I'll second that.
It's in the historic.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Secretary report.
Okay, what do I have on there, the garage or the house first? The garage. Okay. The garage at the end of town. We had a call from the neighbors the other week. One side towards Ball's house, that little alley, had fallen into the alley. Now, before it fell onto Main Street, down the alley, should have been something done a long time ago. But, so I called the solicitor, and there's things you have to follow to do this. The guys went down and put the tape around it, the danger and stuff. Well, they went down and cleaned it up, by the way, for bombs. And then they took in some of the glass on that side that was about ready to fall out towards their house. They took that out, threw it inside. We know who owns it and everything. I called PennSafe, the inspector. He's supposed to condemn what you want him to do. He's supposed to do is condemn it, legally condemn it. And then Mr. Nelson's gonna come and talk to you, because there's different ways to do this. Some of it's long and hard, some of it's shorter and easier. I guess it's not real easy, but, and the same with the trash, the house on Main Street. This is the first,
That's the one across from, funeral home.
right next to
Yeah,
the
that-
senior housing, because people started calling.
They have that cleaned up now.
Well, we had to do it. But there were rats getting around it, so the women were calling from the senior housing. So, you have that in there, that was the first one. You can have, did I put them in there?
Yeah.
Okay, that was the first one that was posted. And Again, I called the solicitor for this. And then nothing was done within the so many days or something, so then they got this one. So, oh, it was in color. He said, get it in color so they see it. Okay, sure, I can do that. But anyhow, we know the man who lives there, but he's evidently a recluse. That was his daughter, I found out, that cleaned that stuff out and put that there. And she told one of the ladies from Black Diamond that her dad was coming home soon. And he's gonna explain to you what can be done with that. It cost 400 and, I forget, it was 400 or 450 to get the dumpster in here. And I went down to Lowe's and bought the guys coveralls and masks and stuff, because we had no idea what was in them. And now it was like $54, so we need to recoup our money legally.
Well, so the borough paid to have that all cleaned up, pick that up, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew, I seen the dumpster down there, and I didn't know if the borough, if they got someone in there.
And I had a couple people say something to me, and hey, it had to be done. You take each case separately. You know, you're not gonna say, okay, I'll go clean up your garbage or anybody's. There were rats coming in, like I said, we don't know what was in there, and I can't find the guy.
Can't you put a municipal
They
lien on
knocked
the
on its
property?
door.
Can you put a municipal lien on the property, because you
That's what the solicitor will come and,
because you have another one at the other end of town just as bad. And I'm sure there's probably rats around it.
Which one's
The
that?
trailer.
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot of stuff to be done that hasn't been tended to.
Well, there's a lot of, I noticed there's vehicles sitting around that aren't licensed in yards too again.
Man, down Sure's, there's rats down there in that place too.
Our biggest thing is we don't have an ordinance enforcer.
Right.
I
Oh,
wanna suggest that, and Raleigh Cog had one that serviced everybody who belonged. And he quit, and now they haven't been able to get one. Evidently, nobody wants to do this kind of job.
well, I seen Arbona Burke got one.
And that's what I'm thinking. See, they have to get
Tom Brink,
class, Tom Brink.
Yeah.
And so does Ramey, so does Houtzdale. So maybe we could pay one to come up here now and then, a couple hours a week, and get some of this stuff done. And Greg, by the way, while the mayor's incapacitated, I don't know if you know, she's in the hospital, you become the acting mayor.
Wonderful.
I knew you
Just
did.
what you wanted to hear, right?
Thanks.
Doesn't need to be voted on or anything, it just passes to someone to take care of it till she's able. But he'll come and talk to you next meeting and about those two properties and what can be done.
All right.
There's 5 properties on the county planning commission redevelopment thing. 1, 2, 3. Shoot, I wrote that down, I think. Remember I told you about the grant for that, and we had to put a little bit in from ARPA. There's 3, possibly 5 on Main Street, and the other one's up here on Oak Street, what used to be Marge Cashlock's place. And somebody called DEP on them, and somebody called DEP on that garage too. So the lady from DEP was here last week, and she wants a list of these properties, so I have to give that to her. But Lisa can't act on it yet, things aren't in place, but once they are, you saw what happened, how nice that looks there, and all these, never know that building was there before. So we're getting there, it's just everything's a slow process. So I have something there about Joe going to,
Yeah, it's the
Yep,
next thing.
and the next 2 things.
okay, so the one at the convention center is free, that's 2-day. He won't stay overnight, he'll come home.
Is that the first one?
Is that the
So,
first
yeah,
one,
it says
2-day?
go into program, pay his miles.
Yeah, just, if, all you need to do is vote to pay his
Yeah, so the other one
mileage.
says a 1-day training session.
And then the other one's the one there, and that's where he can get certified as a flagger. And also, they're having a grant writing class at that one. So, but that costs, well, 60 some, so you would have to pay that in
Where's
his
it at?
mileage. I think it's worth, you see what he's like,
Where's that second class at?
Clearfield, Fairgrounds. So they're both really close, which doesn't always happen.
What the mileage be? I mean, not much more than a couple
From my house to the radio station where I used to work, it's exactly 30 miles. So it's about that to the
Yeah.
30 miles one way. Walt won't be going to either one of these. He already has a flagger certification. He doesn't need to renew it. And I'll be asking you next time for permission to go ahead and advertise his retirement. Again, we're gonna have to try. Don't you want a different job?
All right, motion to approve Joe going to the first place, Blair County Convention Center or whatever, and paying the miles.
I'm making motion to pay his mileage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion for Joe to go to one-day training at Clearfield County Fairgrounds on the 24th of May and pay $67.50 plus mileage.
Make a motion to approve Joe going to a one-day training session at the Clearfield County Fairgrounds on May 24th at a cost of $67.50 and mileage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next meeting.
Before you
Yeah,
get into
and
that,
you have some things in here. There's a report from DCI.
Uh-huh.
And a package for you to take home.
back to when you guys went into executive session, you had no motions in the executive session?
You can't make
can't
them.
No, I know, but
You
Can you-
can come out and
make it,
I
and,
did.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, but we didn't have
But
anything,
you didn't.
we didn't have nothing to vote on it.
You had no information for public what the executive session besides real estate
Ralston.
was.
Yeah, that's all.
for. Okay. Thank you.
In regard to a deputy, now that they will be bonded, is that correct?
I think you're talking about deputy tax
I
collector.
don't know. You'll have to look
The
in.
county pays for my
Mhm.
bond.
Well, we pay part of that. I just got the bill for that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I thought they paid it all, but they just billed me for $32.
Wow.
I don't know. I wondered if they had to be, and if they have to have the
Especially if they're gonna run my computer.
background check, you know. I mean, hopefully you'll never have to have, you know.
I think the main reason why they always want a deputy, in case something happened to you, or you resign,
Yeah.
that they have a fallback.
If you get sick or you go to the hospital and somebody has to.
Thank you.
So.
When do you want the next meeting, guys? Usually falls on your head, Todd.
I can look at the schedule. Penguins are overall, unless they make playoffs. It's all good.
You guys are on your own if it's at the end of this month or beginning of next month, because I'm going to Florida for a week.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Where are we at now? Months this year?
April
April.
9th.
Your scheduled meeting is for the first.
First
What?
Monday of the month.
First
yeah,
Monday.
but again, it's advertised from the beginning of the year, Monday nights. So I
Right.
don't need to keep doing it. So they
Right.
need to stick to Monday nights, cause it's starting to cost a lot to, no thanks. It costs a lot to advertise.
May the first Monday of the month? Let me see here.
You have any other
So,
Mondays this
nights.
month?
Night's the first Monday of the month. This month?
This was a regular meeting, is that correct?
What's
Yeah,
today?
week off.
Today's the 9th.
27th.
Yeah.
It's the 10th. Same thing. 27th is a Thursday.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, sure.
April.
27th is Thursday.
The other Mondays are the
March,
17th, the
that's fine.
24th, if not, then you'll have to make it for next month.
I could do April, or let me make sure now, it might be alright. May, the first Monday, no, he's still working on it.
Oh my gosh, May.
First
Hey.
Monday.
Yeah, I work the first Monday night shift. I'm gonna work first Monday of the month every single night shift. It's a 1 month schedule. The first Monday of the month, I definitely on night shift every first Monday.
Yeah, they just said that way. You don't have anything the 17th or 24th?
The 17th of April or
Yeah.
May?
That's next week.
April, any of the Mondays this month?
The 17th and what's the other one? The 24th.
24th?
I'm nights the 24th. I could do the 24th, I do believe.
You said your nights.
Yeah, but I get done that morning.
It won't be as long as this.
I
This
work
is just build up.
Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Yes, I'd be available the 24th.
Okay.
Wouldn't have a whole heck of a lot of sleep, I'll be
And
available.
we'll have to video you in from Florida.
No, I don't leave till the 29th.
I know that.
Well, then you can be here on the 24th.
Thank you for coming up.
Possible, depending on.
Me?
Let's set it for the 24th.
Yeah, no, I'm off 24th.
So
Are
I
you
could be here
really?
the
Yeah.
Oh my God, we
24th.
hit 2 nights in a row. I mean, not in a row.
So let's shoot for that,
Okay,
Okay,
24th.
24th of this month.
barring the Penguins don't make playoffs and
They're
I'm
not
not
gonna do it.
Pittsburgh.
They're not gonna do it. Motion to adjourn.
Roll call, let me know when they are, roll call.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
It's not looking good for the Penguins making the playoffs either.
No.
But if they do, and they play the 24th, there's a possibility I will be in Pittsburgh.
Jerry,
You can't
I need to get the checks
expect
signed.
people to lose.
I have your rack one, postage one, type 3.
There's a good possibility
You have them
that
ready?
I will be in Pittsburgh.
No,
watching the
I did
Penguins
have them
play.
ready, but I have the bills, I have it laid out.
So I'm
Oh,
making
okay.
that,
And there'll be 3
working on
separate,
getting that door.
3 separate checks.
Whatever you do.
I'm off tomorrow, I'm
Yeah, yeah, if you can,
These guys
I'll
are
get
up so
together
early,
with
so you can't,
So even if
see what we can get, we'll get a walk.
Did you get
Sean.
some checks signed?
no, can we get some checks signed
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Stuff like that all the time.
Or now, or